Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Hoop Hogs video mailbag. I'm Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas and the Pod at the Palace, coming to you once again with our daily Razorback basketball Q&A. If you've been following along the last week or so, you know that we are in the midst of a big one. So we had the question about, hey, what about the top 9 in Arkansas's rotation? Can we get a little breakdown, little preview, strengths, weaknesses, expectations? Got any film we can check out? Yeah, we're doing that. We've made it through a good amount of the rotation in this player preview series. We've done Nelly Davis. We've done DJ Wagner, Jonas Adu, Trevin Brazil, Boogie Flan, Carter Knox, Adu Thiero. And now we move on to my man, Billy Richmond. And listen, Kobe Bryant's my favorite player. So Billy Richmond is he's already high up on my list. Wearing that 2-4 jersey. So I do appreciate that about him. Just another legacy get for John Calipari, a Kentucky flip who was in that heralded class that he had before he left Lexington. Excuse me. Richmond's dad played for Cal for a couple years at Memphis. Billy Richmond's originally from Memphis himself. So you keep seeing this like La Familia, man. It's a real thing over there. And just over the years, when you've coached so many kids and sent so many people to the league, it's kind of hard not to start seeing the so-and-so's little brother or so-and-so's son or whatever. And we'll probably continue to see that while we're at Arkansas. And Billy's one of those cases. And speaking of cases, like what a fascinating case we have here in Billy Richmond, because I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but just imagine being a composite 5-star prospect in your class and barely being talked about since you signed. Like, how much have we really heard about Billy Richmond so far? It's crazy. He was not a McDonald's All-American. Carter Knox and Boogie Flan were, but he did play in the Jordan Brand Classic, the Iverson Classic. Guess who else played in those two events? Anthony Black. He was pretty good for Arkansas, wasn't he? Billy played his last 2 years at the same school as DJ Wagner did, Camden in New Jersey. That's a big-time program. Really, really good program up in New Jersey that, I don't know, you think about the basketball they play up there and you think just grit and toughness and aggressiveness. And that's kind of a lot of the traits that he brings to the table. Put up really good numbers there, averaged 17.6 points, 7.6 boards, 2.6 assists. He had a bunch of double doubles. I think he already had 46 blocked shots and 44 steals. So he is very much kind of the stat sheet stuffer type. Very similar numbers also on the EYBL. So you always wonder about these guys who don't go to a prep high school, like he wasn't at Link or Montverde or whatever, but he was at, Camden is, up in the Northeast, maybe one of like equivalent to kind of what Duncanville is in Texas. It's like a really, really good public high school. So, but you always check to see how they do on the circuits because they're probably playing better competition night in, night out. His numbers were almost exactly the same on the EYBL with the scholars. So it translated, and that's a good thing. Probably something that you should appreciate about Billy there. I don't know, like if you kind of look up and down the roster, Richmond kind of, he looks like the 9th man in a 9-man rotation, but I really do think that that's more of a testament to how good this team is than anything else. I really believe that. I think he's going to have an impact for Arkansas this year, and I think he could potentially profile as a guy who could be around for a while and be, a really good player for multiple years for the Razorbacks. Strengths for Billy, he's a long 6'6", 200 pounds, so he's really got that wing frame. And honestly, he's a ready-made wing defender in the SEC, in my opinion, a plus rebounder at his position. He is an absolute menace in transition. If Arkansas is going to play fast, that's a good thing for Billy Richmond. When he gets out on the open floor, that dude's trouble. He's a highlight waiting to happen. Really, really can put pressure on the rim, and he plays well above it. He's explosive. And you'll see that. We've got some brief clips that we'll show on him here in a few minutes. But, this is a kid who just absolutely lives in attack mode offensively and defensively, really. Super, super competitive, tough as nails. He plays strong for a freshman, and he's a little bit younger in his class, I believe. He might have turned 18 by now, but I think he was 17 still when he committed. I could be wrong about that. But a big kid, honestly, already at 200 pounds, and he kind of sneaks up on you with his size. From a frame standpoint, I remember seeing, I watched Barry Dunning on the EYBL a lot, but I remember the first time I saw him on campus with Arkansas, and I was like, whoa, this dude's pretty big. Actually, he's got broad shoulders, big frame on him. That's kind of how I feel. I think about Billy Richmond. Um, Developing game offensively, I think is what we could call it. He's pretty left hand dominant. He is lefty. Shot mechanics, they need quite a bit of work. Okay, and that's kind of the question mark about Billy Richmond. He's got it's a pretty flat jumper. The release is a little wonky. So there's some things he has to work on. But kind of unique actually in the fact that I, I like his off the dribble shot more than I like his catch and shoot. That's weird. That's rare, but that's how I feel. He does have some playmaking skills though. Uh, Good passer. Sometimes he tries to do a little bit too much out there. Whatever. That's what you see from young guys, especially when you're playing in transition, looking for highlights. Whatever. Um, Here's the thing about Billy Rich though. Every single time I feel like I looked up this summer when Arkansas was putting out practice clips, highlights, whatever, he was in it. It was insane. He was always on the camera, whether it was making a defensive play or if they were just showing just quick little drills and clips, just to get the people going. He was in there, but a lot of dunks. You could see some of that physicality. It was good, and I put a few of them together that we can look at, and we'll talk about them here. So let me pull it up real quick. See what we have. There it is. All right, so you see what I'm talking about right there, where I like that off the jumper or off the dribble jumper more than I like the catch and shoot. That looked pretty good there. Nice little mid range. Kind of rejected the screen, came off, had some space, pulled up and knocked it down. That's not bad. Let's look at that one more time. Earns it. Pull up over TB. It's not easy to make a jumper over a dude with a 7-foot wingspan, so that's pretty good work right there. And here you'll see him. Boom. So he slithers to the rim. So sometimes freshmen will be a little bit hesitant. They might try to settle for a jumper there, but he went there and challenged Jonas Adu and used his body and finished. That's pretty good. And then just some dunks, because you're going to get a lot of dunks from Billy Richmond. Let's check them out. Okay. All right. So, and here's the thing. I realized that a lot of these dunks that we just showed, they weren't in the middle of a scrimmage or whatever. But when you can tell somebody can really fly and is really they're explosive when you listen to the reaction in the background. And listen, every time he dunks, you hear somebody, ooh, ah, and you're gonna get a lot of that in the crowd. But I want to listen to it one more time. Just listen to the reactions, and that's how you know. There's Coach Cal. I've seen him make that shot. That's good. I'm glad you've seen him make that shot. Tough finish, man. Ooh, oh. Hey. Woo. It's pretty funny. Oh man, I like it. Good reactions there from his teammates. So, at any rate, let's see. Torvik, we do these projections and see what Torvik has pegged for these guys. Not super high on Richmond here. That they do their top 10 projected guys in the rotation, and he would be the 9th. They get him at 2.7 points, 1.7 boards, and an assist per game. I don't know. It's interesting because I feel like I continuously say, I think this guy's going to outperform this or that. And there's going to be some give or take, I think, in certain areas. But I think Billy Richmond's probably going to get more opportunity than maybe the computers project. I think he's going to wind up playing a decent amount because of his ability to defend on the wing and because Arkansas just doesn't have a super amount of depth. I mean, any type of foul trouble, anybody's injured, like that's more minutes for him. But I also think just in general, he's going to be more in that rotation than people probably expect. So I think he'll outpace it a little bit. But I also think that Billy Richmond is kind of the prime stats don't tell the story type of guy in terms of the impact that he can make in games. So if you want, a best case scenario, I think for Billy Richmond this season, maybe like a potential player arc comparison to watch, think about freshman year Devo Davis. but with that Barry Dunning type of frame that I was talking about. And what I mean by that is, might be a guy who isn't playing a ton right away, but you just gradually see his minutes start to go up because he's the dude who's always diving for the loose ball. He's always making the ooh and ah play. He's kind of the glue out there on the floor, does the dirty work. And you can tell that the team just plays better when he's on the floor because his energy is a little bit infectious. I could see him being that kind of guy who goes from role player to more important role as the season goes on because some of the things that he brings to the table. But we'll see. I'm excited about Billy Richmond. This episode, I'm recording it Saturday afternoon. It's going out Sunday morning. So by the time most of you are watching it, I'll be out at Pine Bluff for the tip-off tour. He's one of the guys that I'm really looking forward to seeing in person and being able to come back. Really, after all these guys, I tried to time this up to where I had them done and out in time to where I could actually get in there and see these guys in person and then come back and do one of these and go, okay, here's where I think I was right. Here's where I think I was wrong. Whatever. So I am looking forward to that. But going to be interesting to follow Billy Richmond and honestly all the Razorbacks. Going to be a really fun team, I think, this season. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. As always, we got one more, and we might have saved the best for last tomorrow. Big Z time. I'm looking forward to it. Make sure you get subscribed. YouTube channel, Inside Arkansas. I'll be back in the morning. It's been Curtis Wilkerson with the Pod at the Palace. Everybody have a good day. Appreciate y'all.